Well, you might want to buckle up, buttercups, because looks like we're gonna have a bumpy ride tonight. You don't have to like the video, you do not have to subscribe, unless you want to, of course, but yeah, the Decepticons are here by the looks of it before Autobots, and some of you probably have seen the video already, so I'm gonna lay the wood down for you, pause, but we have an update to the story, and yeah, get ready for that one. First of all, I want to show you that video from that UAP hearing. Looks like it was not a nothing burger. Thankfully, it was not a nothing burger, so let me show you that, and right after that, we got an update to the story, so I want to share that with you too. Let's get to it. Roll it.
Look, I'm not jumped to the conclusion that I believe that there are, aliens coming from another planet, but I'm open to that. And I think that it's our responsibility, especially when we're seeing that we have a government that is actively blocking information from us. Just last night, I tried to get an amendment onto the National Defense Authorization Act that fit in the germaneness of that bill to have UAP disclosure. And conveniently, it was named non-germane, mostly deemed by staff, not even an elected official. This is the kind of stuff that we repeatedly see. Last year, we were blocked by someone in House administration.
Whoa! So much for free speech, so much for public transparency, so much for paying taxes, right? Yeah, we, the government, are with you, people. Yeah, so much for that. Yeah, get mama with that one, bro.
From being able to receive a full briefing from Arrow. So not an elected official, but someone in staff blocked us. Man. And I've had it. Enough is enough. I want to cue up a video that I've been given. And before it starts, I'm going to describe. This was taken October 30th of 2024. This video is of an MQ-9 drone tracking an orb, or this object, off the coast of Yemen. You'll see that another MQ-9 launched a Hellfire missile. That you cannot see that drone, and so I'm not going to explain it to you. You'll see exactly what it does.
There we go. He's gonna lay the wood down for us. Pause. So yeah, MQ-9. So that's a UFO alien twats right there. Yo, come down, man. We'll call Pampers to give you guys free services or some shit like that. I don't know, man. Just come down, guys. Like, damn. So they're flying, and any second now. Hellstorm missile ready for deployment. There we go. Whoa, shit. That was the Hellstorm missile. Now, if you have played Call of Duty, you know that shit's lit. That shit's crazy. So it hits the UFO. The UFO, like those twats right there, they're flip-flopping, turning.
It zoomed out.
Yeah, those. I wonder what the aliens were saying at that point. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for hitting us, man. Yeah, hey, yay, right? We in a Six Flags situation. Thanks for giving us that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So they enjoying the ride by the looks of it. Nothing happened.
Still see it traveling.
Seems like it's rotating, but now it's getting back to normal.
So, Mr. Knapp, do you have you heard about events like this occurring, and what information might you have?
I have heard about events like this. I have heard about this event. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it in one of our episodes a while back. We did not have the video, though. There are servers where there's a whole bank of these kind of videos that Congress has not been allowed to see, that the public hasn't been allowed to see. Occasionally, some of that stuff gets out in the wild and it comes our way. It should be going to you. The public should be seeing this stuff.
100%.
And why you're not allowed to, I don't know. But that's a Hellfire missile smacking into that UFO and just bounced right off.
That is insane, man. That's crazy. Because Hellstorm missile, that's like no jokers, bro. Damn. And humanity at its finest. Yeah, we don't know what's flying. Let's shoot at it, okay? Let's shoot at it, and we'll find out later. Thankfully, it did not shoot back though. So.
And it kept going.
It kept going, and it looks like the debris was taken with it.
Yeah. What the hell is that? What
flies like that? Again, I'm not.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Okay. Check this out, and then I want to show you guys like this clip after the fact. But roll it.
I now recognize Mr. Knapp for his opening statement.
Yeah. Let's get to the opening.
Good morning, Chairwoman Luna, Ranking Member Ms. Crockett, and members of the task force, and Dina Titus. I just knew we were going to get you involved in this topic at one point. Great to see you here. I'm George Knapp, Chief Investigative Reporter at KLAS TV in Las Vegas. I began my pursuit of this weird mystery way back in 1987, and for 38 years, I've always approached this as a news story. It's not a matter of faith or belief. To me, it's a story, and it's an important one. I'm proud to be here alongside these witnesses today, men who have seen strange things and step forward to tell the world about it. Whistleblowers and witnesses who step up are routinely insulted, belittled, or worse. They risk their reputations, their career.
Absolutely, but my God, look at that. Holy shit. That, it has that, is it me or you guys feel like the same way too? It looks like a fish, right? You know, if you've seen that dory fish, but that is blue, this one is not, but has that kind of shape to it. What in the world, man? There's so much footage out there, and the fact that it is claimed, I mean, they already claimed that there's like a bank of videos that is saved privately somewhere. Where is Edward Snowden, man? I know, but yeah, we need Edward Snowden back on this situation. Real quick though, I gotta shout out the homie Felix for following over on the grams. If you do have the grams, I would love to have it there in case something happens, you know what I'm saying? Links are always down below. And also shout out to the homie Marvin for the $10 super thanks, and the homie AJ for becoming a member. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel the way you do. Appreciate it. Let's get back to the content here. Boo, roll it.
Careers, their clearances, their livelihoods, and sometimes much more than that, even their freedom. I know that one of the goals of the task force here is to figure out ways to protect whistleblowers and witnesses, and it's a tall order because so many of the things that happen to witnesses like these are extra legal. They're carried out by persons unknown, as Mr. Dave Grush, sitting up at the top of the room, knows all too well, including events in recent days that have happened to him. I want to share a couple of things that I've learned along the way on this long journey, and I submitted most of that in written form because I estimate that my statement here today would take about 4.5 hours. So I'm going to try to jump over and touch on the more important salient points. I submitted a detailed written statement for the record, and we'll go into a lot of that here. But the public has been told over and over since the late 40s, there's nothing to worry about here. These mysterious craft seen by millions of people in the skies, in the oceans, over the land, are not real. They're not a threat. The witnesses are wrong. They're crackpots. Don't believe it. Dang. That changed for me. What got me hooked is the paper trail. Documents that were squeezed out of the U.S. government after the FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, became the law of the land. And those documents paint a much different picture than what the public, the press, and Congress have been told over many years. The documents from military and intelligence personnel behind closed doors admit that, quote, these things are real. They're not fictitious. They can fly in formation. They're evasive, and they outperform any aircraft known to exist, including ours. The public, of course, as I said, has been told something much different. Back in 1989, I reported about a guy named Bob Lazar who claimed that he worked.
Yeah, Bob Lazar worked at S4 Area 51. And real quick though, so he insinuated, not said it literally, but he insinuated the fact that these can be threats. Now, truth be told though, right? Can be though, right? We don't know, right? I mean, they might not be, they might be threats. I know there are different arguments, and I know some of you are probably like, okay, well, if they were a threat, if they were hostile, if they were bad, they would have already taken over the planet, which, yeah, you may be right. But here's the thing though, we're humans, so we're thinking like humans, we're not thinking like them. We don't know how these twats, like these bastards, think, okay? We don't know how these aliens think. Maybe they are on a reconnaissance mission. Maybe they are not hostile at all. Maybe they just want to, maybe this is just like a visiting planet, like an airport, let's just say, or maybe like a location, it's like a resort for them, or perhaps it's just like an island for them, pause. Perhaps it's just one of those vacation spots for them where they come in and they're like, yeah, that's cute, right? Look at them humans, right? Haha, yeah, centuries behind, thousands of years behind, right? Yeah, whatever, right? We're gonna chill out and then we're gonna bounce back or go to a different planet. Perhaps that's the case. Or perhaps some of them are hostile and some of them are good. Now, Stephen Greer, Dr. Stephen Greer says that they are good. Other whistleblowers say that some of them are good, some of them are bad. Canadian Defense Minister Paul Heller, who's no longer with us, have also said that some of them are good, some of them are hostile, and some of them are actually very good. So, I mean, makes sense to me, right? Just like us humans, some of us are good, some of us are bad. But again, though, that thinking is coming from Homo sapien, okay, not extra-dimensional or interdimensional or extraterrestrial, right? So you gotta factor in whatever you think right now. You're thinking with a human brain, okay? How do these things operate? How do these beings operate? How do these biological, if they are biological, right? How do they operate? They say, David Grush said that they are biologics. Like, for example, like UFO crashes have happened in the past. So they have recovered biologics, biological beings, bodies. In fact, that's what has been said in the past. So yeah, man, shit's crazy, and this has been hidden for a very long time. And as the guy said in the very, very beginning, that like non-elected. Holy shit! Yeah, I remember this one. So a cow fell out of nowhere. What the hell? Dang, a cow falls from the sky, USA. If you have additional information, please comment. Yeah, and this, I believe this is linked to the, I'm forgetting that term, but you know, like the organs would be missing, they would be, there was Skinwalker Ranch, and I'm missing that term right now, I'm forgetting that term, dang it, man. But yeah, you probably know what I'm talking about. If you know, put it in the comments. Yeah, I'm missing that term right now. But yeah, no, the guy in the very, very beginning said that non-elected officials were blocking this information. They should not have the power to block that information if that is to be believed. Insane timeline we're living in, and now we're getting all this stuff coming out. Holy shit, maybe we're near. Maybe this is part of Project Bluebeam, Project Blue Balls, or maybe we're gonna get a real disclosure. Let's find out, guys.
Worked at a facility dubbed S4. Reported about a guy named Bob Lazar, who claimed that he worked at a facility dubbed S4 out in the Nevada desert, very near to Area 51. He said he was part of a reverse engineering program. He said there are alien craft that would be taken apart to figure out how they operated out there, and that was a pretty tall order. I had clearly taken a dive into the deep end of the pool there. But in the years since then, I've interviewed dozens of other people, and I've detailed what their testimony has been in the written statement. They include Senator Harry Reid, Senator Howard Cannon, also of Nevada, a guy named Al O'Donnell, who was the first general manager of EG&G in Nevada, which managed the Nevada test site, which blew up hundreds of nuclear weapons. There's a guy named Dr. James Lakatsky, who was a career scientist with the Defense Intelligence Agency, who was the guy who initiated a program called AWSAP, Advanced Aerospace Weapons Systems Application Program, which is, as far as we know, the largest acknowledged UFO program ever funded by the U.S. government, which put together an amazing pile of information that members of this committee and the world, most of which they have never seen. The DIA still hasn't released 95% of what was prepared by that program at a cost of millions and millions of dollars. The one name I do want to bring up in this session, though, is Robert Bigelow. So looking into the idea of crash...
He bought the Skinwalker Ranch, right? Holy shit, Robert Bigelow. Yeah, and he done studies and he brought in scientists. Just giving you the backstory if you were not aware. So yeah, there was a family at Skinwalker Ranch claimed to have witnessed a whole lot of paranormal activity, some related to aliens, others probably something else. Skinwalker, I guess that's why it's called Skinwalker Ranch. The family also have claimed to have seen portals opening from which entities would come out. Not my opinion, okay? By the way, this is a story that has been said. Not saying it's true or not true, but that's what's being reported. And it's a couple decades old at this point, I believe. And then Robert Bigelow, billionaire, ended up buying the island, or not the island, but the area, and brought in scientists with him to conduct the study. And yeah, they didn't catch much on camera, but they did see and witnessed and experience a whole lot of that so-called paranormal activity. So something did go down there.
Retrievals and reverse engineering for Bigelow. So looking into the idea of crash retrievals and reverse engineering, while AWSAP, that program, was active, the DIA's contractor, Robert Bigelow of Las Vegas, made a bold attempt to acquire physical proof of UFO crashes. It's been widely reported and suspected that Lockheed Martin is one of the contractors, the defense contractors, that has held this stuff, stored it away in secrecy, and tried to figure out how it works. I have confirmed on the record that Robert Bigelow and a trusted colleague from AWSAP met with and negotiated with senior executives at Lockheed Martin and hammered out a deal wherein Bigelow's company, Bass, would receive a quantity of unusual material that had been stashed away and protected at a facility in California. That material was not made here. I want to move on now to the Russia files, because that was going to be sort of the central impetus of what I was going to talk to you about today. Back in the early 90s, I got into Russia, met with a number of their defense officials, Ministry of Defense and others, who confirmed for me that Russia had been doing the same thing that the United States had been doing, that is, secretly studying UFOs while publicly saying something completely different.
I mean, absolutely, right? Yeah, I mean, who would have thunk, right? Russia, probably China, probably mostly every big country, even little countries, or no disrespect, not saying that disrespectfully, but yeah, mostly every country on the planet of Earth must have done studies and hidden stuff from the public. Absolutely. Brazil is one of those countries that is very much open, right? They are the most open, not saying like they reveal everything to the public, but they are the probably, if not the most open country in terms of disclosing news and information about UFOs, right? Because a lot of stuff have gone down in Brazil about UFOs and aliens, and they have released and revealed a whole lot of information about them in the past. Not everything, but most definitely more than United States and other countries.
The documents and interviews that I obtained and have now shared with this task force show that the USSR launched what is almost certainly the largest UFO UAP investigation in the world. The first phase of that was an order was sent out to the entire USSR military empire that every unit, you see anything strange in the sky, a craft, an orb, something unusual, you had to gather all the evidence, collect testimony from the witnesses, look for physical evidence, and all of that information went into one program at the Ministry of Defense. Thousands and thousands of these reports came in. A lot of them were first routed to the KGB, but then back to another program that came after this collection effort called Thread 3. And Thread 3 was an analysis program. We have provided to the committee the documents of what they were trying to do, and essentially they were trying to build their own UFOs. They were using the information from their observations and studies to try to figure out that technology. The guy who was in charge of that program, Colonel Boris Sokolov, told me that their goal was to basically develop technology that would be superior to anything we had, based on what they learned from UFOs.
Mr. Knapp, just in the name of time,
Sure.
to my understanding, did you have anything you wanted to submit for Congress to see in this committee?
I have submitted those documents.
Would you like to play any videos? Do you have a video that you would like to play?
I don't think it's for me to play.
No, that was for Alexander.
Yeah, Alexander's video.
Okay.
Yeah.
He played,
Yo, Alexander, where you at?
and he could narrate it.
Okay, we can, in the name of showing that video to everyone on task force, we'd like to play that video at this time.
Sure.
Is it different or? Yeah, I believe this is different. Okay. So 2023 USS Jackson UAPs. Okay, this one has audio. Or lack thereof. Yeah, no, we've seen that. Or maybe it's new. Okay.
I'm surprised here, tell you. You call it the VVSS team.
Yeah, like 22,008.
Yeah, no, we've seen it before. Or
That shit took off earlier.
If we can get rid of the audio real quick.
yeah, thank you, Anna. Thank
Mr.
you,
Wiggins
thank
and Mr. Knapp, we'll get back to what that video was in a moment, but we just want to make sure that it was entered into the record, as
Look
well
at
as
that.
all the documents. Those will be able to be publicly found for everyone in the country to view.
Jet.
If we
Beautiful.
could, Mr. Knapp, we'll continue on the line of questioning, but I'm going to move on to Mr. Borland's opening statement.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our News Nation.
Check and now check this one out. Yeah, so we got Ross Coulthard and George Knapp. Roll it.
Well, let's just start, 30,000 foot view. How do you think the hearing went today?
Thought it was spectacular. I mean, the fact that it happened at all is amazing. Congress went 50 years without touching this, no hearings at all. Now we've had several in a row, and these
I'm gonna share
members
this
have.
after.
It's a steep learning curve, but they've obviously educated themselves and are deeply interested in it.
What really strikes me is 2 years ago, we had that first hearing, 2023.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to zoom in on the nose pause.
The difference in just like the caliber of questions from members between then and now, y'all have educated them in some sense.
Yeah, I think so. They've clearly done their homework. I mean, it's like, hey, what do you think about UFOs? It's this witness did what, this program did what. They've really done their homework and dug in.
The video that was shown today, I think is pretty remarkable. Granted, we don't fully, I guess, understand what's going on in it, but what did you make of that moment and the committee's reaction to it?
We've been hearing about this video for a while. Jeremy Corbell and I talked about it on the air a while ago. We hadn't seen it yet, but now that it's been released, awesome. Somebody had to leak that and put it out and put it in the right hands. A member of Congress had showed it to us.
So you're saying that this was also leaked? That's crazy. That this has to be leaked. If it wasn't leaked, we wouldn't be seeing it. And this is, I was watching like portions of the live UAP hearings. So yeah, I don't remember at what point it happened, but I've seen it. And they were asking, our rep Anna Luna Polina was asking, like the whistleblowers and all the people that were at the hearing, do you feel scared, threatened by like this? And most of them said yes. Yeah, right? So, I know the fact that they're using threatened, scared, words like that, I know a lot of you would be like, okay, like this is definitely part of Project Blue Balls, Project Blue Beam. And maybe it is, or maybe it's not. Yeah, I would like to believe that some of them are hostile and some of them are not so hostile. But the fact that they shot hellstom missile at it and it didn't do anything, and the fact that it did not return fire, shit, bro. You know? Okay, that's good. Or perhaps it didn't necessarily have weapons on it. Perhaps it was just one of those UFOs that don't need to have weapons on it because they trust their tech. They're like, yeah, we're so immune to it. Or maybe this is, once again, made by Lockheed, and this is basically made by reverse engineering the UFO tech. Or maybe this is made by, let's just say, Russia, right? I mean, I'm saying that for the sake of the argument. We don't know, right? We just don't know. So for the sake of it, I guess, yeah, but they're saying it's a real deal, so.
In advance of the hearing, and it was pretty spectacular. I mean, a Hellfire missile hitting an unknown object, it bounces off, and then the object keeps going. That's some
like a ping pong ball.
Really interesting technology, whatever the hell it is.
Can you explain Thread 3? There was a lot of discussion and admiration for how you were able to even get that at all. But how important is that to the larger narrative here?
Thread 3 was a really big Russian UFO program. There had been a 10-year stretch where the entire Russian military, vast USSR military apparatus, every unit in that system had to identify, investigate, and pass all the information of any UFO incident onto the Ministry of Defense. Yeah. Thread 3 grew out of that. It was analyzing all those cases and trying to figure out if they could duplicate the technology that was flying around in their skies.
Absolutely, yeah.
It leads me to believe that we would learn more from the Russians about what our American government knows about UFOs than we'd ever learn from the American.
Yeah, no, he got a point, right? Like, let's make Russia snitch on USA ass, and let's make America snitch on Russia's UFO programs ass, right? How about that? Sounds like a phenomenal tactic, right? I think that can definitely work. And I wonder, I can only imagine, right, how many UFOs were shot down in the past. Perhaps there have been cases where, you know, us as in us humans, perhaps Russia, perhaps America, perhaps China, perhaps any other country. NASA cuts the feed, lol. I could only imagine how many times in history we have shot a UFO down and we were able to bring it down. Perhaps not. Perhaps yes in some cases. And if so, if that have happened, then chances are likely that we shot it just so, hey, we want to recover the UFOs and we want to see what's up. Are there biologics in it? Are there not? And if there are biologics in it, yeah, let's actually probe their ass real quick. Let's actually bring them in to an Area 51-like facility. If it's not America, if it's another country, yeah, Area 51-like facility. Let's run tests on them. Let's find out what's in them. Yeah, let's see what's inside the UFO. Let's actually try to duplicate it and let's learn that, right? Of course, you know, we're gonna do that 110%. Yeah, we're not hearing much about it. I mean, we're starting to hear some shit about it, but
American government itself, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I hear. Oh, go ahead.
It suggests that the superpowers in this world are trying to do the same thing. They're trying to figure out that technology and see if they can replicate it. And the first country that gets it wins.
I've heard a lot of
yeah.
skeptical. Sure. I've heard a lot of skeptical people talk about how, or they question.
Another prime example of a footage we're seeing possibly a UFO in the sky, and we're shooting. Where was this recorded? I believe it would have said here. Let's see. So this was Iranian, yeah, air defense. So Iran was shooting at a UFO, right? So yeah, no. Again, that begs the question: how many times were these things shot? Perhaps, yeah. I mean, in this video, surely looks like that it's doing nothing to that that alleged UFO. But I can only imagine there would have been a UFO that was shot down and brought in, right? There gotta be at least one, maybe or maybe not. Hopefully, because a hellstom missile failed, hopefully next time we're not gonna like launch a nuke at it to find that out. Yeah, could you imagine human curiosity gets the better of us and then we're like, yeah, let's launch a nuke at it and see if you can bring it down or not.
You know, if this is truly a lot of skeptical people talk about how, or they question, you know, if this is truly a real phenomenon, why does it only happen in the United States, not realizing that there are global reports and incidents. So by you introducing that, do you think that all of a sudden now there's more of an awareness about how this is an international phenomenon?
Well, I hope that people will realize that. We Americans are pretty self-centered and we think that anything that happens in the rest of the world doesn't count. But these things have been around for a long time, flying over every continent, every culture, as long as humans can recall. And it is a global phenomenon. The Russians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Israelis, they're all interested in trying to get the technology. And, you know, maybe events like this can help push us toward the stigma being released. Maybe an event like this will help reduce the stigma and get more people involved, scientists, engineers who've been told for so long that there's nothing to it. That OSAP, the OSAP program under the DIA, they collected files from all over the world. They created the world's largest UFO database with some 240,000 cases. I think that some intelligence agencies are in use of that right now, but the vast majority of what was
You guys gotta chill, man. Let the homie George talk, man. Damn.
created with tax dollars has never been released to the public. 95% of these amazing reports.
We demand answers! We demand answers! We, the taxpayers, demand answers! Why are we paying taxes, man? Damn, bro. Yeah, that's my triggering word. Bro, like, yeah, man. Are we just here to work, suffer, pay taxes, suffer, pay taxes, and just die? There's gotta be more to life, damn it. There's gotta be more to life. We're not just, I refuse to believe, bro. I refuse to believe we're only here to work, suffer, pay taxes, suffer, pay taxes, work, die. Nah, bro, there's gotta be more to this, bro. Come on, man, damn, bro.
Have never been released at all. DIA says they can't find them.
Amazing. Okay, 2 more questions for you, and then I'm all done. What is the next immediate step? I know it's a marathon, it's not a sprint here, disclosure, but what do you think comes next after today?
What I hope comes next is that Congress can enact some protections for whistleblowers that are meaningful, that can protect them not only from retribution in their job, that can maintain their security clearances, and that encourages more whistleblowers to come forward. There are people out there who shared information with us off the record who'd like to be able to go on the record, but they're worried for their lives. That's not a joke. They think that they would be killed if they came forward and told what they had. If Congress wants real whistleblowers with hands-on experience who've worked on these secret projects, have seen the technology with their own eyes, they want them to testify. They're going to have to really enact some strict protections, and it has.
No, he's bringing a valid point, and that's a very good point, right? Because at Lockheed, how many people working at Lockheed? Probably 100, thousands. So you're telling me that none of them are going to come out? Some of them likely have come out, like he said, behind the scenes, right? Off record. And they don't want to come on record because they're worried for their lives, right? This is bigger than just NDA, right? Because with an NDA, yeah, if you spill the beans, you're likely gonna get sued. But here, we're talking about people's lives, right? So they can potentially lose their life or their family lives, yeah, right? Because it could be that, yeah, well, they're gonna threaten them up. Okay, shut up, don't say anything, otherwise you're gonna lose your life. Okay, well, I'm gonna leak the shit. I'm gonna leak everything when I die or right before dying, right? Like a deathbed confession, I'm gonna have that. But chances are, like, they threaten them up with their family lives too, right? Their dear ones, their loved ones. They make sure that they don't spill the beans. So either they don't spill the beans at all, or they're like, okay, I'm gonna talk about it to people I trust, but I'm gonna remain anonymous. I'm gonna do it off record. Now, if this becomes big, I hope this becomes even bigger than this, and Congress can provide protection for these individuals. Yeah. Or we can have them come forward in an anonymous way, but on an official level. For example, we get some of these people that may have worked on these crafts at Lockheed or have seen these crafts in person with their own eyes and worked on it. Perhaps we don't, I mean, it would be better for sure, but perhaps we don't need to know who they are, but they can come to these Congress meetings in a private way where they don't need to reveal their face or their voice, but they can actually testify, and if they have footage or something, release it, and and provide protection for them, I guess, right? I don't know if I'm making sense though. I know there's probably a lot of loopholes in what I just said. Loopholes as in, if they ever get discovered, yeah, they're gonna kill them, and we don't even know who they are. Versus the entire reason that we're told Bob Lazar came forward was because he was worried about his life, and the reason he wanted to do a face reveal was because, like, if he has shown his face to the public, chances are likely that he's not gonna get killed. And if he were to be killed, well, his face is out in the public, so if they do that, well, there would be investigation. Everything that he said would be, quote-unquote, be proven legit. That, yeah, aliens are real, UFOs are real, yeah, he worked at S4, yeah, he worked at Area 51. So, yeah, right, perhaps we could have a deal like that, but I mean, I know it's easier said than done, it's a complicated issue, right? Perhaps there is one of those whistleblowers, perhaps there's one of those guys that actually worked at on these UFOs at Lockheed that is watching this video, listening to my bullshit ass talk right now, and he's like, I don't know, man, I don't know, I wish I could. And I really hope you can, man, I really hope you could, because yeah, this shit is serious, man, but a lot of fun to talk about as well, really entertaining, but also crazy stuff indeed.
Has to go beyond just job protection. It has to be protection for their lives.
And last one, can you just sort of characterize or qualify how you think today may have just moved the ball forward more generally on disclosure?
Well, look, you had really credible witnesses. They're not trying to sell a book. They're not trying to get a movie. They're telling what really happened to them. And it takes courage to come forward under oath before Congress, basically in front of the whole world, and tell the story. You know they're going to get crap. You know what UFO world is like, Joe. Yeah. They're going to get ripped to shreds, and some of them were already being ripped to shreds as soon as their names came out. So I hope that those guys being willing to put it on.
Yeah, right, like a lot of people will say, I mean, I do internet content, so I've seen I've seen it all, right? People are gonna be like, yeah, shills, paid shills, yeah, right, yeah, government spy, yeah, you know, psyop, yeah, bull squash, paid. Do it for the movies, do it for the book, yeah, paid, shill. You know it, man, you know it. And I'm not saying to trust them blindly, absolutely not. We should not be trusting anything blindly, but we should also not dismiss it, anything blindly. We need to find the balance for sure, and generally speaking, most people are very much like, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna like start cursing or anything like that. I'm not gonna start calling them names. Yeah, if I don't believe it, I don't believe it. If I believe it, I believe it. Yeah, right. Most people are generally like that. It's just it's a vocal minority that would be like, yeah, paid chill, this, that, the other. I mean, yeah, if you want to say it, go for it. I mean, I'm not stopping you or anything. But it's just that, yeah, right, like this is one of those questions. Are we, there are two big questions, right? Are we alone in the universe? And what happens after we die? Two of the biggest questions ever, right? And this is one of those questions. Are we actually alone in the universe? I mean, I wanna find answers to that. I'm certain you want to as well.
All on the line, speak to Congress about what they. I hope that those guys, being willing to put it all on the line, speak to Congress about what they had seen and what they know, will encourage others to follow in their footsteps.
Right.
Thank-
Yeah, check out this video on the screen. This is one of the last video that we've done, and this was on the tall whites aliens, biologics. Not sure if you saw it or not, but if you have not, check it out, because we had those tall whites alien baddies in that too. I know you love them alien baddies. Check it out, and I'll see you right there.